Sure thing.
Castol warned me you would come, but he did not indicate how much he'd have briefed you in advance. You can assure Castol that I would have handled it in due time. I've simply been tied up with other matters. However, if you were to handle this small matter for the both of us, I would see to your reward, personally. Of course, Aimiko, you would be doing for me a grand favor, one which requires the exchange of coin. You're to go to Crookspur and speak with a Master Kua. He runs the island. Hand me your map, and I'll mark Crookspur's location. I trust that Castol has already pressed upon you the need for discretion regarding this matter. Don't answer that. Ah, Watcher. Good, you have arrived. A little seabird informs me that you have dealt with our mutual problem, the scoundrel Benoit. I hear you have a flair for the dramatic, or should I say, explosive antics? A magnificent way to settle one's disputes indeed. And you'd Gelarde. For this you have my grandest commendation. That he did, indeed. And as promised, I have prepared for you a fine prize. However, there is another matter of which we must now speak. I must confess to you a bit of a problem has arisen, one which speaks to your expertise with the supernatural. We've sighted the floating hangman that haunts the Deadfire. Indeed, and I will say it truly again. This galleon, what likely remains of the Von Ferus, is a frightful legend. We have been losing ships at sea, Aimiko, and not to those Valera ship-hunting bastards. I believe the floating hangman may be our culprit. Fortune favors us, as I have procured a survivor from such a recent sinking. You will consider what she has to say. Come forth, Selenia. Quickly now, or I will run rivers of your lethargic blood. Well, spit it out, Selenia, and try not to embarrass me before our guest.
Of course, Captain. Hit my head pretty hard near the end, but I spit the tale as best as I can. Go on, gent. I'm ready as I'm like to get me. Saw my old crew slaughtered me, my best mates, and even a few I hated. They weren't but blood and meat in the end. It branded the back of my eyes, that moment. High seas, nothing but blue all around. Then, mist so thick you could taste it. Ships sailed from within. Out of nowhere was a hunt, not for loot, but for bodies. The ship, it looked... rotted. The crew, they were all undead. Couldn't stop them from boarding. Couldn't kill them. Couldn't even fight them in the end. Me and my crew were adept. Alert. Always. No. Weren't no one gonna get the jump on us. Was some magic foul. Just sudden like, the winds died. The waters fell flat and the air got heavy. They turned sky and the sea both against us. Then this thick fog roiled up at midday, without a sound, the Spectre ship. Skimmed right out. It was too late. We couldn't outsail it. Deny me. Drifted for days, maybe longer. Kept winking in and out after I ran out of drink.
One of mine found her no more than a week ago. Malnourished, dehydrated.
Well, I'm more than able to gabble now, aren't I? Could sail, too. No, you got no reason to keep me.
Perhaps there is something else you wish to ask of our guest before she departs from us.
Calling me craven? Huh, sure, I am. Took a knock-in and I was out for a while. When I came to, they were eating Ganasco, our steward. I dropped a dinghy and rode for it. Don't know why they didn't give chase. Don't much care me. They were dreadful. Some were clothed, like maybe they'd only recently died. Others weren't more than me. One was different. Her presence was overwhelming. Heavy. Flames burned in the place. The crew shambled hard to do her bidding, even the ones who seemed hardly aware. Figured she was the captain, me.
There is a flag the floating hangman flies. A flag that once heralded the Fonferus of Old Valia. It belonged to our Darkotsi paladin of some legend. But Selenia's knowledge is limited in this regard. Let us instead ask her of a subject she may know. She belongs to Элдис, who undoubtedly will come to claim her soon. But that is a problem for another time. One moment, Watcher. That much should be obvious, Diveros. I prefer my crews to fear their captains, not a phantasm roaming the seas. Allow me to cut to the heart of it. Lucia Риван, whose flag flies atop our spectral ship, was a Darkotsi paladin who died more than 200 years ago. It is my hope that uncovering the details regarding dear Rivan's fate in life may illuminate the nature of her undeath. Unfortunately, the only soul who could possibly shine more light on our situation lies buried deep within Neketaka. One Isir the Berethian, now well rotted, I presume. By all accounts, our Риван was a Darkotsi paladin who sailed to the Deadfire in order to safeguard a royal weapon of Old Valia.
The paladins of the Darkotsi were legendary in their time.
Indeed. She is the epitome of Grand Valia, of magnificence, honor, and duty. Living or undead, and yet, we know not why, but a Berethian priest called Isir opposed. They fought to the death. Rivan's, to be precise, in this very archipelago. Along with her life, Риван lost the sword she had sworn to protect. It has, lamentably, remained unfindable since. I believe it may be why she searches the seas yet. Regrettably, I know little but this. He was an Ediran warrior priest of Bereth, and a significantly fervent one if tales are to be believed. He chased our Darkotsi to the Deadfire, hunting her to, well, to her death. Shortly after slaughtering our brave paladin, the priest died, possibly of sickness, or perhaps from a festering battle wound. He was entombed in honor of his service to Berath in Neketaka's sacred stair. Indeed, I do. Though I and mine cannot so openly venture into the depths of Neketaka, nor can we commune with the dead, you Watcher, are adept in both of these areas. Correct. You must search the Temple of Berath on Nekitaka's sacred stair. Isaiah's tomb within it should contain a chronicle for how and where he slayed our paladin, Риван. Gelarde, do return when you've any lead that may navigate us to where the floating hangman anchors. I will be waiting.
fast to the waves, heave-ho, Insurente. If we don't wind up in salty graves, we'll come back to Sorrento someday. Hold fast to the helm, hold fast to the wind, heave-ho, Insurente. Wondrous race, for we'll all be skinned as we sail down the Deadfire way.
You're the captain who Aldis invited to parley, ain't you? I'm to keep an eye out. It's so I can provide you an escort when you arrive. Right this way, Captain. It's my pleasure to show our honoured guest around.
You must be Captain. Glad you could make it, Loveson. Like what you see? The mark on this side, it means I'm the second highest rank on the Council of Captains. I'm but one chair below that cockrot Furrante. Now, I know I offered you a full parley, but I'm a pirate, which means I'm loyal to my crew. But otherwise, I lie whenever it benefits me. You killed my fourth chair, and a damn good friend. A part of me might be impressed, but a part of me wants to flay the skin from your face. Understand? If you've an explanation, I'd advise you to give it up real quick. Don't think you'll deflect me, Loveson. Benworth was one of my captains, in addition to being one of the 7 seat holders on the council. You cut off my right hand. How do you plan to replace it? Only so long as you're loyal to me, you will. But someone's got to fill his seat. Suppose you were to throw your weight behind mine. I think you're seeing the way of things. How we might come to a beneficial agreement. Now that we've got that out of the way, I'll admit, I really like you, Captain. You got guts. And I'd like to make you a deal. Forgive me for dragging you all this way, but I find the proposition of a partnership best works in person. Me and mine within the Principe would make for powerful allies on your side. But would you give us loyalty in return? That I'd like to know. Suppose we've to give each other a test. Make sure it's a good fit. Say you wanted to entice an alliance of like-minded captains. You might start by aiding one of my best in Nekataka. She smuggles through the Undercroft. Goes by the name of Mad Morena, she does. And let me tell you, Dove, she's earned the moniker. You're a hard one to read. Fancy a game of cards some night? I'll take your answer as a yes. You've a bright future ahead of you, Watcher. See that you don't tarnish it by flying the wrong pirate's flag. Out with the stale and in with the... I know you've met with Furrante. That you may even be working for him. That pribbling cockrot. But that doesn't mean you can't partner with me instead. Don't do anything to let him catch on. Just keep me appraised of certain future events as they shape up. Shh. No need to say anything, not yet. You just think on it next time you're toiling for a man who'd happily gut you after you've done his bidding, given half the chance. When the time's right, we'll set our strategy. What can I do, you lovesome? What? Like for when I'm not out plundering the seas, I'm right here ruling my fleet. Suppose I like a good bit of target practice. And of course, who don't guess you like the same? Well, sure. You're welcome to use mine, but perhaps later, when there's less of a crowd around. I've got a problem, Watcher, and I think you're just the captain to solve it. Me and Furrante don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, not least of which is the future of... We got few rules amongst us new bloods, but one of them is that you live free. We steal and we might murder, but if you pledge to us, you're our blood, our family. Now, if I were to act in direct opposition to Furrante, he'd use it to call a vote of the Council of Captains. He'd see... Which means if you were to, perchance, free the slaves at Crooksburg, Furrante couldn't do piss all about it. I'm asking you to sail to Crooksburg to meet with one of mine. She's hiding within their midst, and will have insider information on the slavers. She'll find you, lovesome. You'll know her by her scar. I've only suppositions to offer you, lovesome. But I'd bet my swollenette Furrante is attempting to gain standing with someone other than the slavers. Aiding the slavers is small fry for a captain like Furrante. It wouldn't pay well enough to be... Nope, he's got ulterior motives, mark my words. I know they base their operations in the Deadfire out of Crooksburg. I know they're small but ruthless, and they've run into problems shipping around the islands. Well, well, ain't that a fine thing to know? Aiding the slavers is small fry for a captain like Furrante. It wouldn't pay well enough to be worth the investment. If you've evidence of his involvement, keep it close. We may... Oh, and this here's a little something for you. Find me when you've freed those slaves. I'll make it worth your while. Captain? We're the future, and we're pirates, lovesome. We own this sea, and the sea loves us back in her twisted way. Furrante pines for a homeland he's never seen. But what does old Valia mean to me or my crew? We're not Valian, and we never will be. Though if you're Valian and you want to join our bloodline, you're more than welcome. Generations ago, and I grew like a weed in the deerwood, you see? You say Consueglo me casitas, I say Council of Captains. You say Principe, I say best pirates in the Deadfire. You say Swollenet, I say, well, some things stay the same. Got something for me, Dove? I'm all ears. The floating hangman is the remains of the Fonferus. Interesting. Quite very interesting. I had heard rumors as to such. The floating hangman flies a flag featuring the burning palace from Old Valia. I figured as much. That's how Furrante gained his political standing. And that's how he keeps it, with underhanded tactics that whittle his opponents into ruin. Me? I prefer to face my foes head-on. Give them the chance to join me before I fucking annihilate them. And I like to reward those who support me. I'm good to my allies, you see. For your troubles, Dove, let me share with you a little of my treasure. Nekataka? But why there, lovesome? Well, go on then. I'm sure you've heard our saying, share and share, as is the law of the coast. And one or both of them are of interest to us in acquiring the floating hangman for our own means. I see. This Lucia Риван, I know her name. If you find anything else, be sure to let me know. As you wish, Dove. I am happily in whole...